This right here is the best part of the one big beautiful bill. Hey guys, Cliff Olson, Doctor of Audiology and founder of Applied Hearing Solutions in Phoenix, Arizona, and in this video, I'm talking about a specific provision inside of the one big beautiful bill that is great news for over 70 million Americans. Whether you like the one big beautiful bill or you absolutely hate it, there is one thing inside of it that I absolutely love as an audiologist. Okay, so if you're someone who watches my channel regularly, then you probably know that I served in the United States Marine Corps. Usually when I talk about my military service, I'm talking about when I was a Marine Corps Scout sniper, but I was also in security forces. This means that I had a chance to shoot everything from pistols to rifles, shotguns, machine guns, from 9mm Berettas all the way up to Barrett 50 cals. So it's probably no surprise that as a civilian, I have purchased several different types of firearms for home security as well as recreational use. However, there is one thing that I absolutely hate about guns, and that is they are so freaking loud. If you look at a noise level chart, you can see that the louder the sound is in decibels, the more risk you have of damaging your hearing. Some loud sounds you can endure for a short period of time, but other sounds, like a gunshot, can create immediate physical damage to your ears. And once you damage the hair cell structures inside of your cochlea, you do not get them back. This makes guns not just dangerous for the person invading your home or the animal that you go on a hunting trip for, but they're also extremely dangerous for your hearing. In fact, over the past decade, I've tested hundreds of former military members, police officers, and avid hunters, only to find out that a lot of them have noise-induced hearing loss due to the use of guns without hearing protection or limited hearing protection. This is what one of their audiograms typically looks like, with what we call a noise notch around 3000 Hertz due to the additional amplification effects of the human ear canal resonance, which creates even more noise damage in this particular frequency range. Even when consistently using hearing protection, the variability of noise reduction ratings of different types of hearing protectors can leave you susceptible to noise-induced hearing loss. However, there was one new provision inside of the one big beautiful bill that has done something that will protect millions of Americans' hearing, in addition to what they get from using hearing protection alone when they're shooting guns. But before I share how this provision inside of the one big beautiful bill will protect millions of Americans' hearing, do me a huge favor and click the like button. It really helps out the channel. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel with notifications turned on, go ahead and do that as well. It is greatly appreciated. The provision that I'm talking about is the elimination of the $200 tax stamp fee that was required to purchase a suppressor, otherwise known as a silencer. Now, if this is the first time that you're seeing a suppressor like this, then it's probably the first time that you've seen an actual rifle as well. Now, what these are intended to do is attach onto the end of whatever firearm that you have. It can be a pistol, rifle, or shotgun. And what it does is it actually reduces the decibel level when you take a shot. Suppressors like this one were originally regulated by the National Firearms Act in 1934 due to concerns over gang violence and organized crime during Prohibition. Despite the fact that suppressors were not commonly used by criminals, they were regulated right alongside automatic machine guns and sawed-off shotguns. Now, adjusted for inflation, that $200 tax stamp from back in 1934 would cost the equivalent of $5,000 today. So even though you could get a suppressor back in the day, almost nobody could afford them, except for, ironically, criminals like Al Capone and John Dillinger. As time has gone on, this $200 fee has become much more affordable. However, it is still a restriction on individuals who want to use this type of equipment to protect their hearing and the hearing of other people who are around them. Now, I know that some people think of suppressors or silencers as something that is just used by an assassin to eliminate somebody without anybody being able to hear it. After all, that is what it sounds like when you're watching a movie where someone is using a suppressor. But it is significantly less loud compared to a gun that is not using a suppressor, which means that it is much safer for your hearing. As you can see, just by adding a suppressor to a rifle, shotgun, or pistol, it takes you down from the risk of instantaneous hearing damage to a point where it would take significantly more shots to cause damage, especially if you combine a suppressor with other forms of hearing protection, such as foam inserts, earmuffs, or custom shooting ear protectors. The use of suppressors has been shown to be so beneficial that even my United States Marine Corps, that does not spend money on anything that is unnecessary, is starting to issue suppressors to infantry and special operations groups. I just wish that we had suppressors back when I was serving in the Marine Corps. In fact, I get calls almost monthly from buddies of mine that I served with asking me about what the best hearing aids are, because guess what? They all have noise-induced hearing loss too. And while the elimination of the $200 tax stamp fee is great, hopefully it's just a starting point to eliminate these unfair and archaic regulations against suppressors. If you've ever purchased a suppressor yourself, you know just how ridiculous the entire process is. I mean, it makes absolutely no sense to me how it's more difficult to get a suppressor for a gun than it is to get an actual gun, especially when you consider that a suppressor is basically just a form of hearing protection. Each time I purchase a new suppressor, and I have several of them, it has taken nearly a year to go through the entire background check process and the registration with the ATF before I can take possession of the suppressor. Hopefully my friend and colleague Dr. Adam Mellenbacher, audiologist, Army vet, and board member of the American Suppressor Association, along with his fellow board members, can continue working on educating the public and government officials on the realities and merits of gun suppressors. Now, whether you're a fan of guns or not, and trust me, I understand there are people who are going to watch this video who absolutely hate that I'm promoting anything that has to do with gun safety, I think we all can agree that anything that you can do to reduce your risk of noise-induced hearing loss is a good thing, which is why I absolutely love this new provision inside of the One Big Beautiful Bill. However, there is still more work to do to get rid of this ridiculous regulation entirely.